Yes, guys, Kosi here. Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to Kosi's Arsenal podcast. My name is Kosi. Yeah, back again with another new show every Monday. 11 of the weekend, the best 11 of the weekend. We will be picking 11 best players from the Premier League each round. We've just started it at round 5, which is fine. So I'm gonna be picking 11 players best on my observance. So what we will do in the comment section is you'll give me your best 11s of the weekend. I really do watch a lot of football, and we'll be doing a couple of previews and a couple of match reviews for different teams, and eventually on Monday, every Monday, we will be picking our best 11 of the weekend. Now, in this one, I have 2 Arsenal players. Surprisingly, because I'm an Arsenal fan, so I needed to get in some Arsenal players somewhere, and surprisingly, it wasn't the best performance from Arsenal against Burnley, but I have 2 Arsenal players in my 11 of the weekend. Many fans that are non-Arsenal fans are absolutely going to be disagreeing with me, but I think we deserve some credit. Right, let's get into it. In goal, I've gone with David De Gea, Manchester United, and the reason I've gone with David, they were playing West Ham away from home, and I thought at some point in time I thought West Ham were on the verge of winning that game. What a masterclass performance from David Moyes. They played so well. They lacked Mikel Antonio. They missed Mikel Antonio, and for me that was a big difference in that game. But what's happened is David De Gea in what happened to be the last touch in that game served Mark Noble's penalty kick and secured 3 points for Manchester United. That means Manchester United is joint top with Liverpool and Chelsea, courtesy of David De Gea. Now, I'm not gonna say he had a lot to do in the game, although West Ham kept on checking in here and there. But I think the penalty save is marvelous. Absolutely marvelous. Now, I don't know if any other goalkeepers saved penalties. In the matches I watched, there were no penalty saves. It was David De Gea getting that vital 3 points, and that's what you need a goalkeeper like David De Gea for. He can earn you around 15 points, and probably if you want to win the league, you need to have a very, very good goalkeeper. So David De Gea in goal. How many of you do agree with me? David De Gea comes in goal. I've gone with the back 3: Rudiger, Thiago, and Ben White. Now it's gonna be, this is crazy. Everybody's gonna say, Kosi, this is crazy. Yeah, I had decided to go for Matty Cash. I also thought about Marcos Alonso to replace Ben White, but I left Ben White for a reason. Rudiger, what a performance against Tottenham Hotspur in the first half. I think they really did well to hold on to, because Spurs were absolutely unbelievable in the first half. They should have scored. They should have scored 1 or 2 goals, but they were just off. In the second half, I think Chelsea, the substitution, Kante coming on, it was absolutely marvelous, and I think that was the difference. That was the game changer, right? In that game, Mason Mount coming off and Kante coming on. So literally, what Thomas Tuchel decided to do is, I'm gonna play 3 holding midfielders and I'm gonna destroy Tottenham Hotspur, and that is what he absolutely did, and I think it was spot on. So Rudiger got himself a goal. So did Thiago in that in that game, and Thiago is going to be captain of the week because I think Thiago is just unbelievable. You can't believe Thiago is 37 years of age. Is he 37? Is he 38? You can't. Unbelievable. The guy is just unplayable. Making tackles, stretching, the confidence, the leadership. Chelsea are getting much more than they could, than they expected from Thiago. So a back 3 of Thiago, Rudiger and Ben White. Now the reason I've gone for Ben White, I could have gone for any other defender, but I've gone for Ben White for one reason. I think he really held on to Chris Wood very, very well. He actually won 70% of his duels in the air. and we know he's so poor in the air. So a lot of credit goes to Ben White. So I've decided to give him a place in the best 11 of the weekend. Welcome, son. I've gone with a midfield four, sorry, of Leon Bailey, Aston Villa, Declan Rice, West Ham, Martin Odegaard, Arsenal. What a free kick that was. And N'Golo Conte, Chelsea. Okay, let's start off with actually, many of these players, apart from Rice and Odegaard, N'Golo Conte came off the bench in the second half. It was a very, very tactical masterclass from Thomas Tuchel, and he actually won. He scored, or he aided, because there was a deflection, and I really don't believe it counts as N'Golo Conte goal. But for purposes of this video, we shall give it as N'Golo Conte goal. So what Conte really did is he just changed the game. He just made, he just earned his money, and he made the likes of Lesotho, the likes of Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, the likes of Ndombele to earn their money, and they failed to earn their money. Conte, masterclass, comes in the midfield. I want him to be joined by Rice. Rice had a very, very good game. United shouldn't have won that game. Of course, there's so many calls for a penalty against Cristiano Ronaldo, and I think VAR should be the worst player of the week. VAR, they should be the worst player of the week, because I think if you think about it, Ronaldo could have had a penalty. Southampton could have had a penalty, and I think if you put it into tight context, Leicester City, right, should have had 2 goals allowed. So VAR was player of the week. But I'm gonna say Rice had a very, very good game. The way he controlled that midfield, it only shows you that Manchester United need a serious midfielder. They could go for Zakaria, Borussia Mönchengladbach. I think he can do the job for the job well for them. So I've gone with Rice and N'Golo Conte as my holding midfielders. Leon Bailey, what a player! I think if Aston Villa can keep him fit, they might just find themselves a new Jack Grealish. That's it. If they can keep him fit, because he just comes in the second half for around, was it 13 minutes, 17 minutes? He does his job, gets injured. 13 minutes on the pitch, you have created an assist, and you've also scored a goal. And what a beauty! What an absolute beauty of a goal he scored. So Leon Bailey automatically qualifies to come into this team. And Martin Odegaard, I think Arsenal fans will be happy because he has mentioned Martin Odegaard. But that free kick deserves a mention, and the player deserves a place in the team. I've gone for an attacking trio of 3. Mohamed Salah, that guy is something. That African maestro is something, right? So Mohamed Salah scored as Liverpool beat Crystal Palace 3-0. Just always there to score, and that is why Liverpool need him. I've gone with Ivan Toney, Brentford. He scored 1 goal, and it was a penalty, and he also set up the second goal, but he absolutely bullied Wolves. He absolutely bullied them. Look, there's so many conspiracy theories about that game. One, the fact that Ivan Toney set up the second goal after having a handball, and the goal stood. In the build-up, there was a handball, and the goal stood. Now, that is according to the new rules, isn't it? But I'm looking at Ivan Toney as a player who was 90% active throughout the 90 minutes, and maybe it just speaks a lot why Brentford need him, why Brentford actually need him to be part of that squad. He was absolutely amazing. He was absolutely amazing, right? And then I've also gone for Ismail Sarr, Watford. Watford beat Norwich 3-1. It was a very, very interesting game, by the way. If you did watch it, because I did watch, a part of the game, but I also watched the highlights. Ismail Sarr, again, another hero stepping up for Watford, but he's always been their hero, hasn't he? He's always been their hero. So Ismail Sarr, good credit. Actually, he's one of those players that did manage to get double figures, did manage to record double figures in terms of scoring goals of the weekend. Because Ismail Sarr, I don't know why I do confuse him with Malang Sarr, but Ismail Sarr did he scored twice as Watford beat Norwich. So those are the three attackers I've gone for. Ismail Sarr, Ivan Toney Brentford, and Salah's and Liverpool's Salah, Leon Bailey, Rice, Odegaard, and Conte in the midfield. It's a little bit debatable with the players I've gone for in the midfield, especially with Martin Odegaard, but I'm very, very sure Leon Bailey scored for Aston Villa and set up one goal as we're beating Everton. Rice had a very good performance. They lost to Manchester United 2-1. They deserved the point at home at the Olympic Stadium, but they didn't get it. They were unlucky. Martin Odegaard, the only goal that won 3 points for Mikel Arteta on Arsenal against Burnley at the Turf Moor, deserves the credit. N'Golo Conte, game changer against Tottenham Hotspur, scored a goal as well, and I think he just made the Tottenham midfield and their money. Deserves a lot of mentions. I have 2 goals in my defense, Rudiger and Thiago. Of course, Thiago is the captain of the week, but Thiago and Rudiger getting 2 goals to beat Spurs. They deserve mentions. Ben White, incredible performance against Chris Wood and Burnley at the Turf Moor, and David De Gea saving that penalty against McNoble, who we know has actually only missed 4 penalties in his Premier League career. So that was great charisma to stand up for the side. Manager of the weekend, who should we go for? You have a couple of them, you have a couple of them there. You have the Watford manager, who I think absolutely did a very, very good job. You have the Aston Villa manager, who I also think they got a 3-0 victory over Everton. Everton were unbeaten. Look, it's tempting. I want to give it to the Aston Villa manager. I want. You could also give it to Thomas Tuchel, Chelsea manager, because beating Spurs 3-0 in the North London derby actually takes them top. Actually, I think it was a very, very important win. You could give it to, well, there's so many ways you could put it. But look, I want to be, let us be very, very, fair. Watford had the most important win. Let us give it to Cisco, manager, Watford. Cisco, manager of the weekend, Watford. 3-1, because that was a relegation battle, right? They needed a win, and Norwich needed the same win as much as as much as they needed it. So at the end, I'm gonna give it to Cisco, manager of the weekend. Let's go for Cisco, Watford. Player of the weekend, player of the week or weekend. Who do we go for? Player of the weekend. I need some ideas here. Player of the week. Look, I'm looking at 3 players in this weekend. Leon Bailey, good performance. Absolutely very, very good performance. You can't take anything away from him. Absolutely. You can't. I want to think about Rice and Sarr. Sarr did get 2 goals in that game against Watford against Norwich. So it's one of the reasons why I want to actually give him. But those vital 13 minutes, right? Bailey gave to Aston Villa. Why don't we give player of the week to Leon Bailey? Let's give it to Leon Bailey and hope he can actually get fit. Worst player of the weekend, who should it be? Because I just feel the worst player of the weekend should come from Spurs or Manchester City. But I don't think City did anything wrong. It was all about a 0-0. It was all about a bad day in office. It wasn't the worst day in office. So I really just don't feel like I should name them as the worst team in the of the weekend. And I just don't want to pick a bad player, the worst player from them. So let us go to Tottenham and pick one player, the worst player of the weekend, and let's go for a one and only Harry Kane. Now, Kane, I'm not picking out on Kane. I think he had a stinker, an absolute stinker. Worst player of the weekend, Harry Kane. Best player, we've gone with Leon Bailey. Best team of the weekend, I'll go with Aston Villa. They played so well. They absolutely played very, very well, right? They played so well. So I'm going for Aston Villa. Team, best team of the weekend. Worst team of the weekend should be Spurs. Should be Spurs. They're absolutely off one day. They're absolutely off. Yeah, I mean, I could have gone for Crystal Palace, but we expected Crystal Palace to be bullied by Liverpool, didn't we? Unless otherwise, but I think we expected it. But no one expected, they were never going to win it, Spurs. But they shouldn't have been bullied like that, especially in just 45 minutes. Worst team of the weekend, Spurs. Okay? Worst team of the weekend, Spurs, no compromises. Worst team of the weekend, Spurs. Worst manager of the week. Who had an absolute stinker? Should I say Nuno? No, I'm not going to say Nuno. Worst manager of the week? Of the week. Okay, who do we go for? You know what? I'm gonna go for Bruno Lage. Wolves. Yeah, they lost to Brentford, and I think that game went, Brentford going, a man down, 10 men. They should have done better than that. Bruno Lage, worst manager of the week. So that is it. That's the wrap up. We've gone with our 11. It's a beautiful one, isn't it? We've gone with our 11, and then we have also ultimately gone with the best of the best. Should I say the best of the best in the week, and I've also mentioned the worst of the worst. So let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. Who was your worst player, best player, team of the week, and worst team of the week as well?